Welcome on in to the 4-1 podcast. Wow, this 3 evolution. Who knew? Who knew that it would be here like this? What's going on? I know who that is. Thank you so much for joining Burning Sky. I appreciate that. Um, is that SOS out there? Looks like it is, but I don't know. Welcome on in, 4-1 podcast, this 3 evolution. We have West Virginia, the Uncommon Place podcast out there on Instagram. Thank you so much. Fernando, John, Starsync, anybody out there, if you're out there still on TikTok, please drop it in the comments and let me know where you are calling from. Let's see, we have another comment here. Is this, yes, Miss SOS. Thank you so much. The lovely, talented Miss SOS is out there on YouTube. Thank you so much for representing. I appreciate that. So we're going to get into this, this 3 here, evolution. Tonight we're going to talk about your rejection, my protection. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and reminisce a little bit about Mr. Jonathan Martin Ives, filmmaker from Colorado. We had such a great time yesterday, and I'm going to review the burning question that I did with him, and we'll see. Hopefully, you answer the right question because it's something out there. Excuse me. Before we get started, I want to go ahead and give a very special thank you to my executive producer, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for allowing me to come out here and give you all the 4-in-1 podcast the way that I do, allowing me to be of service to each and every one of you out there. Brooke, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining. Drop it in the comments and let me know where you're calling from, what's going on. I want to give a shout out to my family, my friends, my niece Okita, thank you so much. My sister, thank you so much for holding me down. My Brooklyn family, Mr. Nate Perry, I got to reach out to him. He came on and we had such a great show as well. Miss Lavella, I know you're out there from Brooklyn, New York, my Brooklyn family. We're going to take it up to the Bronx. Miss Eugenia McCall, thank you so much for being such a great inspiration. And I continue to use your wisdom that you've taught me over the years. So thank you so much for all of the love and support. We have Mr. David Wayne Fox coming in next week as well, from Brooklyn as well. Thank you so much for working with me and supporting me. And I support each and every one of you out there. Miss Desiree Covington, I want to give a very special shout out to you, and my prayers are with you and your family during this time. So we're going to move on over to your rejection, my protection. So I've had several different people come on and we spoke about this in different ways, and just to get a different intake from it, because some people can look at rejection as being a terrible situation. The world's going to come to an end. And other people can look at rejection as, guess what? You helped me out. Without going through this process, I wouldn't be headed in the direction that I'm heading in and becoming the person, that I am today. So rejection, depending on how deep you're in it, and how deep you've actually climbed up and try to dig yourself up out of it. So song of the day, Miss Beyoncé, Me, Myself, and I, off of the Dangerously in Love album 2003. So this was an interesting time frame as well, because there was a lot of competition going on out there in the music industry, and I'm not even going to get into it. But when this album came out, Beyonce definitely did shake up the game and change it a lot. And one of these songs, this song actually, really resonated with me and had me click and say, okay, I got this. So Beyonce is singing about how she basically, it's just me, myself, and I. I've realized that the relationship is over. Whatever you are saying to your friends, whatever you're saying to your homies, it is what it is. Everybody knows that, the jig is up. So after putting all that I put into this situation, I'm hurt over this situation. There might be some pain over this situation, but at the end of the day, I just realized that I have me, myself, and I. and from now on, I'm going to be my own best friend. So when you get rejected, okay, you can look at it as this is just it. I just have me at the end of the day. I've learned my lesson. I'm going to hit the reset button and I'm going to realize that I just have me to rely on. Or you can look at it the other aspect, like, the world's coming to an end. I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm not sure what I can do. I needed this person in my life and now they're not here. I needed this job and now I no longer have it. I needed this best friend and now they're no longer there. You can look at it from several different aspects, but Beyonce, she's letting her mate know, ex-mate know, letting the world know that at the end of the day, it's just me, myself, and I. And I think back to, guess what? You were brought in this world by yourself. You're going to leave here by yourself. Before it was anybody else. Before it was you and somebody else. It was just me, myself, and I. At the end of the day, that's who you have to rely on. Self, everything starts with self first. So your rejection, my protection, is all good because without the things that we've been through, we wouldn't be where we are here today. Sometimes rejection is your protection. Like I was speaking to Jonathan yesterday because he got turned down for whatever film festival it was. He submitted something, he got it turned down. And I think back to when I had a friend in my life at the time that we used to talk all the time. Still there, but we don't talk as much. We would talk about how we were getting promotions on our jobs and, how we applied for this situation or we needed to update a resume for this situation over here. And a couple of weeks would go by and this friend just would not, he didn't get the job. They turned him down. And he would not accept the fact that that rejection probably was saving him from something. How many of us out there have been in a situation where we wanted something so bad and we got turned down, but we kept being so persistent. We got so persistent. And then once we got it, we didn't like it. So sometimes rejection can be a form of protection that, listen, if I continued to go down that path and continued to push and fight and want certain things, if I actually get it, maybe I would have been miserable. Maybe that job would have been miserable. Maybe that relationship would have been miserable. First time was like our intuition. The first time was our divine, instinct saying, hey, listen, back up a little bit. This is not good for you. Don't go down this path. If you go down this path, there could potentially be a problem. Danger signs, red flags, we all get them, but we don't listen to them. So sometimes the rejection part could be a form of protection. Burning Sky says, I have learned to be discerning, to be in tune to how I feel, trusting my gut feeling, intuition. So a rejection could definitely be protection. Absolutely. Like I said, that relationship that you want so bad. I know so many people that were doing so well by themselves, doing so wonderful by themselves, elevating, getting to the next level. Everything starts with self, right? And then all of a sudden they get wrapped up and trapped up with somebody in a relationship. And then that's their downfall. How many of us out there can attest to that? Because I know I can. Doing so well, right? Everything is so wonderful. You had those warning signs. That first relationship, that was a form of rejection. No, you can't go past go. What's going on, IG Beats? How are you? You can't go past go. Stop. And then we just got so persistent and we just got persistent and we just kept going and we just kept going. And then finally we got exactly what we were looking for. What some people call that is hell. You were protected. Burning Sky. Is this a new name for you, Burning Sky? Me, yeah. Of course, yes. So many different times that's happened. No, don't go past go. There's going to be an issue if you do. And then we go ahead and we do it anyway. So what some people call once they get into something and they can't get out, or they feel like they're being trapped, or they feel like they're being drowned, is that could be hell, like hell on earth. So I heard this the other day and I thought it was so funny that religious people, they, let me make sure I got this right because I don't want to mess this up. Religious people, they pray to not go to hell. Okay, I think I'm on a path here. Religious people pray to not go to hell, but spiritual people, they've already been to hell and they're out and they ain't trying to go back. So if you feeling me on that, then let me know. But spiritual, okay, rewind this. Religious people, they pray not to go to hell. Spiritual people, been to hell. And as they climb their way up, they ain't trying to go back. Let me know if that's you out there. But I'm telling you, listen here. After all of the things that I've been through, where I'm at here today, to be able to continue to podcast, to be able to continue to do the things that I like to do, go to the places that I like to go, and to be able to still have a right mindset, have a brand new mindset, put it that way, compared to what I was living like yesterday, the day before, last year, 2 years before, 5 years before. Your rejection is my protection. Every single person that attached themselves to me, which I allowed them to do so, because nobody can't do anything unless you allow them to, okay? For all of the people that did the things that they've done to me, for me to still be able to be here, connecting, podcasting, traveling, enjoying my life the way that I know how to live it. In my 40s, I'm going to be 43 in a couple days. Hey, listen, your rejection, my protection. I think about, like, I used to get so upset. I said there's two sides to it. You can embrace it or you can hate it. You can think, oh, the end of the world's coming. This person left me. They don't want me. Why me? Why did they choose the other? Why didn't I get promoted? Why didn't I get this? You can look at it that way. Or you can look at it the side to be, a little more on the optimistic side. Thank God. Because I wouldn't be doing this right here today. There would be no 411 podcast had I stayed in the situation. It would have been impossible. I wouldn't have the time, I wouldn't have the energy, and I wouldn't have the money to, do some of the things and travel and go to some of the places that I go to. So the way I look at it, your rejection is my protection. One of the most beautiful things that I'm embracing right now is my new mindset. I think differently. I live differently than what I've done before. So to hold on to something from the past that was doing me no good, and looking back, if I stayed in that situation, I'm not even sure that I would be alive today. So your rejection is my protection. Thank God you showed me exactly who you are. And now that I know who you are, I know who I am. Because before I didn't know who I was. I was too busy trying to find out and know who the hell you were, and going along with your plan and not going along with my plan. So your rejection is my protection. And one of the best quotes that I love from Maya Angelou is, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And then what I say, because I remix it a little bit, is, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Not the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, like I used to in the past. You showed me who you are the first time. But what I would do is I would be like, oh, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. Thank you so much, SOS. It's going to get better. This situation is going to be fine. My boss is not going to disrespect me tomorrow. I know that she disrespects me every other day and, talks to me, or he treats me this way, or this person on my job is giving me these dirty looks. I know that this happens, but guess what? Tomorrow's going to be a great day. And I know that that's a great way to think about it. That's half of the battle of thinking positively. But sometimes your rejection is my protection. The way that people treat you, the way that people interact with you on a day-to-day basis, those are those red flags. Those are those signs that maybe we need to tap into that and realize that maybe this situation is not good for me. So by you giving me your butt to kiss, because that's what some people do. You come in showing up exactly who you are, and their job is to show up exactly who they are. And their job is to show you who they are so that you can make better decisions in your life. I'm just speaking from experience. I'm just speaking from my own life experience, and this is all that I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, your rejection is my protection. I'm so sorry. I just feel so great about it. And I know it's going to be hard for those of you out there who are in this process because I was 2, 3 years ago. I was being rejected on all different forms. I was being rejected in a relationship. I was being rejected in the workplace. And I wanted every bit of both of them. And I continued to keep spinning my wheels and doing things that, were no good for me. And while I was continuously spinning my wheels, doing things that were no good for me, putting myself in situations that didn't make any sense, the only person I was hurting in the process was me. Only person I was hurting in the process is me. But then the rejection came so hard and it came so bad and it came at such a weird timing. It came at the time when it was the lockdown. My job said, guess what? You can't come to work. That was a form of rejection right there. You can't come to work. Because of what's going on, you got to stay home. And see, this is the dopest thing right here. Remember Beyoncé, Me, Myself, and I? Because I got rejected on multiple different fronts, whether it was friends, whether it was a lover, whether it was a job, I had to embrace that Beyonce, Me, Myself, and I song because during lockdown, couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything. So what I did was I embraced that Me, Myself, and I time. And once I embraced that Me, Myself, and I time, the old person that I used to be that was rolling around, crying, pacing the floor, worrying, drumming up stuff in my mind. Why me? Oh, you're going to choose your friends over me? Oh, you didn't pick me? Do you know who you're dealing with? And sometimes I had to go ahead and show people who I was, which was wrong. We should never have to show people who we are. They already know. If you know who you are, they already know. But see, I didn't know who I was, so I had to, you know, show people, oh, I'm going to show you who I am. You think you're doing something to me? Laren? Oh, yeah. It's going to be a problem. I'm going to have to run up and show this person who I am. They don't know who they messing with. Anybody ever talk like that before where you got to go ahead and show somebody who you are? If you feel and you talk and you're on that vibrational plane or level or world where you feel that you got to show somebody who you are, you've already lost the game. I didn't know which path we were going down here tonight with your rejection, my protection, but I have to say that I'm really liking the vibe that's happening right now. I don't know what's happening, but I love it and I embrace it. And I thank each and every one of y'all for rocking with me. I listen, all of the likes, the comments, the shares, please. I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to share these videos. I encourage you to drop me a line because the more that you do that, the more that you are going to be able to help somebody else. See, it has nothing to do with me at this point. It has everything to do with me in a moment before it starts. But once I get out here and I start saying and I start doing what I'm doing, it has nothing to do with me. It's about getting to the person who could actually get this and heal from this and learn from this and grow from this. That's what the 4-1 podcast is. That's what Freedom Between the Wines is. That's what my Black Diamond Productions brand is. And this is my way of giving. So this ain't nothing to mess with. Ain't nothing to play with. And I didn't want to go down this path. I'm going to take it there a little bit, just a little bit tonight, and then we're going to get back on track with your rejection, my protection. So because of the things that just came out of my mouth not but 2 seconds ago, I don't play with my ministry. So the fact that I don't play with my ministry, I'm not going to allow somebody else to as well. So any type of disrespectful things that come through, we ain't having it. We ain't having it. So it is what it is. Shutting it all down on all types of forms. So exactly. So honestly, it was way. It was. Excuse me. Burning Sky says honestly, it was so easy for me. A little too easy. I've mastered being with myself. You know what? I used to be made fun of, and it used to come from my own four walls, right? That I didn't have a lot of people around me. I didn't have a lot of friends. I wasn't the life of the party. I wasn't kicking down doors. And it used to bother me a lot. And see, this is another thing when it comes to, thank you so much, SOS, for bringing that up. I'm going to have to learn your new handle name. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I used to think so bad, like, wow, is something wrong with me that I don't have these friends that I'm supposed to have and these people and all of these things going on and all of the excitement going on in my world every 5 minutes, phone ringing and this and that I would try to create it. I would put myself in an atmosphere. Oh, we're going out to the club today. Oh, we partying, we doing this. Here's my phone number. Here, text me this, that, the next, the other. And it was being forced a little bit too much. It wasn't real. It wasn't authentic. And then when the people did reciprocate and start calling and texting me and wanting to hang out, I'm somewhere sitting at my house like, absolutely not. I don't want to be bothered. This just doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel right. You're moving and you're doing things that I don't do. And it was great that I went out and I was at a party and I, cut up a little bit. But I don't want to continue to do this every single night because that's not me. But the rejection was there, okay, which was a form of protection because all of these people, they weren't feeling you before, but because you force yourself and you put yourself into something, they might be feeling you part time, but it's not going to be long time. It's not, it's not going to be full time. It's just going to be part time. And then the rejection's going to come all over again anyway, because if you can't go past the stop sign, because that's where it's been barricaded, that's when it's been blocked. You trying to climb over walls, you have no idea what's on the other side. And once you get there, it's probably going to be something you don't want, and you're going to be stuck, and you're going to be trying to climb and screaming to get back over. So you might as well just stay exactly where you are. Okay. All right. Just stay exactly. These are the things that I had to speak and tell to myself and speak into myself. You rejected me. You didn't want me. I couldn't work there. You know what I'm saying? I had to get with self. Had to embrace the Beyoncé, me, myself, and I. And all of a sudden, something clicked. Something changed. Something shifted. Only thing that I can describe it as love for the first time. Now that's deep, right? Because we run around and we say we love people. I'm in love with you. I love you. But I learned that saying all of those things, I love you, I'm in love, this, that, the next, the other, it wasn't reality. Because I didn't even love myself. So how can you truly love somebody else if you don't even love yourself enough to know, here we go, Mary J. Blige, be happy. You don't even love yourself enough to know that this situation that I am in right now is toxic. This situation that I'm in right now is no good for my health. This job that I continue to show up at every single day with all of the stress, with all of the headaches, I'm digging myself an early grave. So how can you say, oh, I love this job so much, or I love my boss, or I love my spouse, if you really don't love yourself? Mm. I'm just speaking from experience. You can think otherwise. But I discovered love for the first time, which was loving myself first. Otherwise, I was digging outside, seeking validation from other people. Hmm. You didn't tell me that you love me today. Now I feel a certain way. How many people have been out there where you feel a certain way because somebody didn't tell you that they love you? You know what? I used to get all bent up out of shape when I would walk into a workplace and somebody wouldn't say good morning to me after I did. And that was a lesson that I had to learn because I thought that it was just, this one specific individual that's doing something to me. Now, you were rejecting me on purpose. That was a protection. Because the minute that I tried to force it, now I got wrapped up and trapped up, and now I'm sitting here thinking the same negative, disrespectful mindset that you were. And I didn't learn my lesson at this location, that I just moved to the next job, and then that same type of person would show up. Or I would move on to the next relationship, and that same type of person would show up. So until I learned that, wow, when people start rejecting you, sit back a little bit, analyze the situation. I know it's going to be so different. It's going to be so weird to not turn up. It's going to be so weird to not take action. But when rejection happens, it doesn't require you to step in and do much. The job has already been done. You've been rejected. You didn't do it. The job has already been done for you. You have been rejected. The job has already been done. Now all you got to do is do your part and just sit back and see what's next. Sit back, quiet it down a little bit, get with self, and see what's next. But oh, no, no, no. And again, I'm just speaking about what I used to do. Oh no, rejected, right? Mm-mm. Now I got to do something about it. I got to do something about it. SOS, I see you out there. Burning sky, SOS. I got to do something about it. And when I do something about it, now you causing any disruption, you're going against the plan. No longer do I live in that mindset. No longer do I think that way. You can think about it one way or you can think about it the other. You could be optimistic about it or you can be pessimistic about it. Positive or negative. And what I know is that whatever you think, as far as what I know and where I've been, whatever you think, you become. So this person is rejecting you. You're on a job where somebody's rejecting you. You have a friendship where they keep disrespecting you. It could be a mindset. And I know I'm going to start going so deep, so deep, so deep. And that's cool. Because you know what? This is a freestyle session, and it's been a minute that I've been able to actually go so deep like this. Why do I keep getting rejected? What's going on, Ty? How are you? Why do I keep getting rejected? Why is it the same person that keeps showing up? Why is it these, relationships over and over and over again keep ending up the same? A lot of it is because of your mindset. Birdman, what's going on? Birdman's coming soon on Reading Between the Lines. Or let me flip it this way. A lot of it was my mindset. For those of you who may not want to admit that you might been thinking the same way I was thinking. That's all cool. I was in denial at one point too. What do you keep doing? These are the questions I have to ask myself. What do you keep doing that you keep stumbling across some sort of rejection? You keep stumbling across disrespectful people. And what it was is that once I got rejected, I wasn't embracing the change. It's a lesson. This is the school of the hard knocks, right? Oh, we thought that we graduated, right, in the 12th grade, or we went to college and we got our associates or we got our masters and all of this great stuff. We thought so, right? But every single day that you wake up, you're in school. And until we learn our lessons of life, it's called life lessons, right? Until we learn our life lessons, we are destined to continue to repeat the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. So once I realized that and I figured out, wow, so you mean to tell me that if I don't get this lesson this time around, that I have to repeat this thing over and over and over again? And the more that I continue to repeat the same thing over and over and over again and stay stuck in quicksand, then I can't elevate and get to the next level in my life. Hmm. I think I just shocked myself with that statement. If I don't go to school every day, because we go to school whether we want to or not, if I don't perform in school, in the school of life, you mean to tell me that I'm going to have to wake up the next day and go to school and do the same thing over and over again? Burning Sky says it's usually us, not the other person. The same thing will keep appearing until we break the cycle. Absolutely. It's like a video game. Once you learn how to master this, then you get to the next level. You won't get to the next level if you're stuck in quicksand. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time, not the second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth, or seventh. You said you didn't want me. Guess what? That's exactly what that means. When people reject you, it's a form of protection. Yet we get in the way and we try to change things. And I would turn around and say, really? Oh, you mean to tell me you don't want me? Because I know who I am, right? We talk a certain way, going back and forth. You might have a little disagreement. You might have an argument with your spouse or whoever. There have been times when I went toe to toe with my employers, toe to toe with them. Because the first time you lied, it should have been like, okay. But no, you lied one time, you lied a second time. Now you start to break the trust. Now there's a loss of respect from either end because you have to respect. I don't care if you got a title or not. I don't care if you're the CEO, the person that sweeps and mops and clean the toilet bowl. You have to respect everybody the same way. And don't you dare turn your nose up to somebody who has less than you, because trust and believe, what goes up must come down. You reap what you sow. It's karmic law. We learn these things in school. Treat others as you want to be treated. Don't listen to it and see what happens. And trust and believe that I have lived every single, well, I feel that I have relived. I don't know yet because I'm not done living. But I can just reflect back on my life when I was here. And there were people who were here. And in my life, it turned out to being like this. To where how I treated somebody disrespectfully and I made them feel a certain way, I'm now looking up and saying, oh, wow, I learned my lesson. See, that's the difference today. Now I'm like, wow, I learned my lesson. I remember I used to treat people this way. And at that moment, it's all cool. Guess what? I can't get upset. I can't bend out of shape because I remember when I treated somebody a certain way. Your rejection, my protection. Mm, wow. Thank you so much for coming in, Nabella Animam. I think I said that right. That's why I don't really like to say out the handle names so much, because some of them be a little interesting and I can't pronounce them properly. I'm gonna just call you Joshua because I don't know. Anyway, so the 411 hotline. You can always text me at 609-738-0611. If you have a question, a burning question you want to text me about what I'm speaking about tonight. Anything that you'd like to let me know, you can text me at 609-738-0611. And depending on what it is, I may bring it up on future podcasts. Going through the profound track number 2, Your Rejection, My Protection. Now, if you want to get the full version of Your Rejection, My Protection, the audio version that I recorded earlier this year, you can head on over to X, which is formerly known as Twitter, and I have all 17 tracks. Disc 3 Evolution, 17 tracks for you to go ahead and play. It's just going to give you the audio version. You're not going to get the live version that you see here today. So the live version will be recorded from now until the end of this month. And I'm inviting my friends to come through, and they're touching base, and we're having conversations based off of what I have recorded earlier this year on X. So again, head on over to X, formerly known as Twitter, if you'd like to get the full audio version of Disc 3 Evolution. So now, touch so many different bases on Your Rejection, My Protection. Song of the Day, Me, Myself, and I, Beyoncé, released in 2003 off of the Dangerously in Love album. Speaking of that, I'm going to go back to Beyoncé a little bit, because as I was going through this, I was like, dangerously in love. That is a terrible place to be in, when you are dangerously in love with somebody. And I'm going to say something. Dangerously in love, if anything, you should have it the other way. Now, I know that doesn't even sound that great either, because who wants to be dangerously in love with yourself too much too? But I would think that it's better off that you're taking care of yourself than you running around chasing after somebody else that doesn't want anything to do with you. Running around chasing after something that does not want you. Your rejection, my protection. How many of you out there have been dangerously in love? And listen to this here, dangerously in love. Why are you the only one that's dangerously in love and the other person's not? So now you're dangerously in love, but the person that you're dangerously in love with, they could give two craps and don't care nothing about you today or tomorrow. That's where the problem becomes. Anybody out there, if you understand where I'm coming from, I have been there so many times in my life. SOS says very dangerously. I have been there so many times in my life, and it's not a good feeling. I don't think that I really cleared myself out and got myself into a good, better mindset until I was forced to get with me, myself, and I. Because if I wasn't forced to get with me, myself, and I would probably still be running around doing the same disrespectful things. When people rejected me and showed me who they are, I continuously kept chasing after people like a lunatic. And that is the only way that I could describe it, because it made no type of sense at all. I did not love myself. Birdman says my first marriage. Listen, I'm not even going there, but I understand where you're coming from. Dangerously in love with somebody who's not in love with me. It's a problem. Your rejection, my protection. You showed me who you are, you told me who you are, and I did not listen the first time, like we should have. When people show you who they are, listen the first time, not the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, until you end up doing something ridiculous, or you end up saying something ridiculous, and you put yourself into a situation where you have to turn around and say, what? I'm sorry. Now, what are you apologizing for? Because you've been protected, you have been shielded, okay? Now, because you didn't listen when the rejection happened, now you're the fool running around at the last minute, trying to repair things, trying to pick everything up and say, I'm sorry. How many of you out there have been in that situation before? Because trust and believe I have. My mouth would get the best of me. And I am so it would get the best of me at work. My boss would call me and say, "Did you tell this person off?" Now I'm supposed to be a leader and I'm supposed to, conduct myself in a certain way. But remember that mindset, you have that spirit of I have to show somebody who I am. Hmm. Oh, you're going to do what? And then I would have to show somebody who I am. And then because I did that, now I'm getting phone calls. Now I'm on suspension. Now I'm on investigation because I told somebody off or I said that I would do something that was disrespectful. And as my friend Miss Eugenia McCall says, no, 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 no. You weren't disrespecting anybody. You weren't disrespecting anybody. The only person that you were disrespecting is yourself. The minute that you step out and you jump out of character and you start to say and do some things that don't make any sense, one of my ultimate, hands down, favorite employer, boss, I'll put it that way, of all times, Miss Lori. Thank you so much for teaching me the things that you have taught me. I worked in retail. She said, Laren, there's all types of stuff that goes on in these stores here. And she would tell me stories about people. Thankfully, I wasn't on the other end. But there were times when I was on the other end. And one thing that she told me is that if you're afraid to say whatever you're going to say over the intercom, then you probably shouldn't say it. So when you think you're going to tell somebody off, when you think you're going to be disrespectful, when you think you're going to air somebody out, if you can't pick up the phone and say it over the intercom so that everybody can hear it, customers and everything else, then don't say it. Now, had I taken that full force, because I used to dabble a little bit. Okay, so you taught me this great lesson. I'm only going to use 50% of it. You taught me this other lesson over here. I'm going to use 25%. Because sometimes we think we know what we're doing. And I just thought that I knew what I was doing so much. But people show up in your life for a reason. And they teach you things for a reason. Life is a lesson. This here podcast that we have going on right here tonight, this is a lesson for both you and me. Dr. Stephen Baum, what's going on? So because I didn't take those things into consideration when she taught me that 100%, I should have taken it and moved with it 100%. But I only did, 50% here and there. That was teaching me that once rejection shows up, right? Once somebody says that, no more, it's a wrap, it's over. I should have been just okay to keep my mouth in a certain perspective. Because if I can't say it over the intercom, if it's going to be disrespectful to the people that's listening, family members, whoever else you're around, innocent bystanders that might be caught up in a mix, you know, had I done that, I would have elevated much quicker. Here's another thing, too. Once you realize that rejection has taken place and all of a sudden you take off the rose colored glasses, this is one thing that I had to learn how to do, too. We all learn on our own timing. I know I can sound a certain way here on the podcast. I can sound as if I've arrived and I've made it and everything's 100%. Which I have to say, yes, I am on a different level. But the amount of time that it took to get here, and I'm not even where I want to go or where I need to be. It's a very long time. I was stuck for over a decade. So I can't knock anybody for not being where they want to be. Because I can't tell you what to do in your world and you can't tell me what to do in mine. It is what it is. It's all on, divine timing. It has nothing to do with me. But during that process, I'm going to go on another tangent too. During that process, Remember, you don't have to stay there that long. You don't have to beat yourself up. Forgive yourself. Somebody rejects you, they don't want anything to do with you, and you find yourself chasing, the wheels keep spinning. Once you come out and once you start to learn, don't beat yourself up so much. It's okay. You can play that sad song, you can turn the record over, switch the track, change the station, change the movie, and get over it. As quick as you possibly can, get up out of it. Start to think positive. Start to say some great things about yourself. Because the moment that you stay stuck, oh yes, that's a long time, decades. I want to say decades, and that's terrible. From the age of 10 to 20, I had such a terrible mindset of chasing after people. Started with daddy, chasing daddy, wasn't around. And when you're in your 20s, you start dating, and you get married, and so forth and so on. Chasing people all in my 20s. Not even just a relationship at work, friends. In my 30s, chasing, chasing, chasing. Finally, I hit 40 and I was like, absolutely not. But I didn't know it was going to happen. I wasn't listening. I was being rejected so many times. I was being protected by so many different things, but I didn't listen. I just climbed over the wall, went out there, got beat up a little bit, had the scars, came back, nursed myself up again, then turned around and did it again. Did it again, kept doing it again. So yeah, I was stuck for a very long time and stuck with the mindset of I don't want to say anything bad about my past because without it happening, I wouldn't be who I am today. But I just had a very negative mindset, very negative. Always had to be right. Always had to be the first one to say something and the last one to say something. Ready for a fight. Ready to rip somebody's face off. Ready to cuss somebody out. Upset, taking things personal. Miss McCall helped me out too when I used to say this person did X, Y, and Z. And she would say, really? This person did what to you? They didn't do anything to you. My grandmother taught me that a long time ago too. Nobody can't make you do anything. Nobody ain't doing anything to you. Are you still breathing? Are you still alive? Did they put their hands on you? Is your life in jeopardy? If the answer is no, then they didn't do anything to you at all. And can't nobody make you do anything that you don't want to do. I'm so thankful for the shift. I'm so thankful for the mindset change. Stuck for a long time. So there is some power with getting with me, myself, and I. There's nothing wrong with me, myself, and I. Had I continued to go down the path of thinking that there was something wrong with me, myself, and I need to go here, I need to go here, I need to get attached to this situation, I need to do this, I need to do that. I created nothing but misery in my life. And because I was so miserable, I turned around and I made everybody else around me miserable. Wanting to have what this person has. And your rejection is, guess what? You don't have enough money in a bank account. You've been rejected. You can't afford that right now. But sometimes we get in the way. Now that you couldn't purchase that, because guess what? You couldn't afford it. And because you can't afford it, I'm protecting you right now. I'm protecting you so that you don't have an extra bill and you can sleep better at night. But oh, no, no, no. We want to go ahead and take out a loan. We want to go ahead and finance a car. We want to go ahead and take out a second mortgage. We want to go ahead and get a department store card. We want to go and get a new credit card. We want to extend our line of credit. We cause the hell that we create in our own worlds. Hell on earth, it can be. And a lot of times it's hell on earth because guess what? We weren't listening to the signs of protection that were put out there. We didn't have a great level of discernment that once we got rejected, guess what? That meant something. That was a wake up call. So I look at things totally different today. And had I not continued to go down the path, bumping my head, go down the path, but after a while, you're going to get tired of it. So I can't knock anybody's journey. I can't knock how long it's going to take somebody to get to the breakthrough moment. Because there were times where I was just so good and I was so sick of myself. I didn't even like looking at myself in the mirror from all of the hell and the drama and the nonsense that I created in my own world. I didn't like it. And that's what it took. It took for me not to like myself. It took for me not to like my situation in order for me to get to the point where I said, you know what, I'm out. It is what it is. You want it, you can have it. I learned my lesson. Deuces. It is what it is. And here's another thing. For those of you out there who think about rejection because somebody is not yours, you don't have that specific thing anymore, you're not in that circle. This is one thing that I've learned too. If something's able to be taken away from you, if something is not in your world here today that once was before, yesterday, last week, last month, whatever, it's no longer here, it was never yours to begin with. And a lot of rejection is us thinking that we can collect people, we can collect materialistic things, and we can just hoard and we can hold on to stuff. And this is the flip side where rejection is okay, because if somebody says that it's over, that's exactly what that means. You were not supposed to be in that relationship for that long. Embrace the moment, love the moment, enjoy the moment, get the lesson that you're supposed to learn from it, but you're not supposed to stay that long. And if you stay longer, it's going to become miserable. This person was sent here to show you and teach you this for this long period of time. Now that it's over, it's over. And once I got that mindset and learned that lesson, I look at relationships and I look at people totally different. I can't get upset that whatever rejection is going on now, it's a form of protection for me. Why would I get upset when I'm being protected? Anyway, that's just where I'm coming from right now. Y'all can go ahead and listen to the full track to Your Rejection, My Protection. Again, if you want to go ahead and follow up with some feedback, drop it in the comments. Let me know what's going on. Let me know what you get from this. You can always text me at 609-738-0611. That is the official 411 podcast hotline. And of course, it would not be a 411 podcast show if I do not go ahead and give y'all this great burning question. And just like the other night, I'm going to keep it all the way real. It's not even late night like it used to be at 10 o'clock, but let me tell you, after the show is done, oof, do I go in and I eat. So I'm so ready to eat right now, but it is what it is. Burning question. Would you rather spend the next decade confined to a small apartment in New York City or isolated or an isolated condo on the California coast? Burning question. Would you rather spend the next decade confined to an apartment in New York City or an isolated condo on the California coast? Drop it in the comments and let me know what you feel about this burning question. So I love vacationing. And this time of year, I like to dream about it more. I like to put myself in, the state of vacation mode because it gets so cold here in New Jersey. And I know that there's places where it's colder. I get it. But for me, I don't like the cold. I'm not sure how I ended up here in New Jersey because everything that I see and feel inside of me, I'm from the tropics somewhere. But I was born into this area and it is what it is. And as these months roll around, I'm just embracing and looking forward to warm weather. I'll say it that way. Now, as I'm getting older, I'm trying to like some of the all of the seasons and deal with some of the colder temperatures or cooler temperatures. I've even purchased some snow gear and stuff like that, but I'm wanting to be in the warm weather, put it that way. Those of you that know me, you understand that. So I will answer my burning question on this aspect if I could do this. It's very hard too. SOS, you did definitely say it's a difficult question. It is because would you rather spend the next decade? That's not a week vacation. That's a whole 10 years in a small apartment in New York City or an isolated condo on the California coast. If I could answer it this way, if it's the summertime, I wouldn't mind spending a decade at a small apartment in New York City. I think that would be beautiful for me. New York is wonderful, warm weather, bunch of people. You get to eat out and dine and all of that great stuff. Hop on the trains with ease, not worrying about snow, sleet, rain, this, that, the next, the other. That would be just amazing. But if I had to go through this process in the wintertime, I don't think I would want to be in New York City at all. I would rather be in an isolated condo on the California coast. That's what I would love. Now, flip it the other way as well. If you're in California and it's summertime, you might be missing all of the excitement that's going on elsewhere. So I say, if I had to answer this question and I could do it in a two-part, New York City, summertime, and then I'd rather go to California in the winter. But I know that that's not how this burning question set up. But so if I had to pick, uh, I'm going to California. It's just because I'm protecting myself from the elements that I want no parts of. If I had to pick up and go somewhere today or tomorrow, it probably would be California. I'm so close to New York City right now anyway, and it is what it is. It takes me like an hour to get there. So I know what the cold weather are like. I know what the seasons, I know what the changing is, and it is what it is. And I've lived that so much of my life that if I had to pick and choose, I'm going over to California. And SOS says, I know I don't like the cold weather, but I want a brownstone. Yeah, they're big. I think that they're big at least. I think they divide them up right into smaller pieces, smaller sections. Makes sense. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Burning Questions. Again, if you have any questions for me that you'd like me to bring up on a future podcast, you want to respond, you want to just say what's up, what's going on, go ahead and text me at 609-738-0611. That is the official 411 podcast hotline. And again, this is Dis 3 Evolution of the 411 podcast, going live every single night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from now until the end of the month, 12:30. So I have some exciting things to announce. So this is a big week. I will be broadcasting live from Celebration, Florida on December 8th, 9th, and 10th. So again, that is December 8th, 9th, and 10th, broadcasting live from Celebration, Florida. I want to say thank you so much to all of my guests who are booked up, guests who've come on so far. I know SOS has been on, and that's been an amazing experience. I love our burning questions. That was so great. I still believe right now that that is the classic burning question from this season so far. I love it so much that I watched the clip over and over and over again. I think that that's so funny. Jonathan Martin Ives last night. I had fun, talking about weather with him. And you notice that as, the podcast unfolds, weather plays a big part because weather and travel is something, that I'm just so into. So stay tuned because you're going to hear more. Nate Perry, thank you so much. He, poured his soul out here pretty much and shared his love life experience here on air. So I want to say thank you so much for that. Enrich Mom, just want to say thank you so much for putting out such great content. Do it yourself credit repair, helping families, helping people get their life together and move to a whole nother level, back to where we needed to be in the first place, back to square one where we don't have 50 million lines of credit drawn out and we don't become a slave to whatever. I'm not even going to get into that, but you know where I'm going with that. So thank you so much to Enrich Mom. Do It Yourself Credit Repair. That's the name of her book. Y'all go ahead and check out that replay. We have Alex Coquito from Puerto Rico. Thank you so much for coming in, keeping it real as usual, as you always do. And he had a great run as well. So, Inner Belief, talking about the things that he had to do to get to where he is as a YouTuber. And sometimes the only way that we could get to the places that we are is if we believe in ourselves, because not all the time is somebody going to be there saying, go ahead, do it. Yay. I'm cheering for you. I got you. You got this. Sometimes you will not be able to move unless you get up and you start moving and you start doing things for self. Remember, everything starts with self. One of the greatest lessons that I could have learned from Miss McCall is everything starts with self. And that's pretty much it. On this note, y'all, I want to say thank you so much. I think we have one last comment in here. Let's see what we got here. I have a future burning question. Is it is it wrong to want to be monogamous? I got you. I'm gonna go. You know what? I am gonna save that for future because I need to dig into it. But and it's so funny that you said that. It's so profound that you said that. It's so mystical that you said that. And I feel like I want to answer it now. And maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I'm going to just give you a little preview of it. Thank you so much for bringing that up because I was in deep thought today about that. We're going to go there. See, you did this. You stirred up something. And I got to get out of here because we're going past the time here. Okay. Is it wrong to want to be monogamous? And I say it all depends. And I know that that's so crazy, right? Because people who know who I am know that I would always turn up. That always was an issue. Worrying about if somebody's cheating on me, worried about this, that, next. I'm just, get so crazed in my mind. Okay? If you know that you need to not compromise your values, if you know who you are, because if you don't know who you are, people on the outside are not going to know who you are. But if you know who you are, then they're going to know who you are because you're not going to stand for the nonsense. You're going to know how to learn and separate the BS from the truth. Your vocabulary is going to change. You're not going to stay as long once you get those signs that something's not right. You're going to pivot and move because this room here, that's a disrespectful situation. I'm not stepping in there because that is no longer what I do, or I've never done that to begin with. So why would I compromise who I am? So when you know who you are, other people know who you are. But if you don't know who you are, they're not going to know who you are, and they're going to test you, and they're going to try you. And that's where the cheating, that's where the nonsense, that's where the lying, that's where the scheming, that's where the creeping, that's where all of that stuff lays. But because we know who we are today, we don't put ourselves in those situations. And real love is when you accept people for who they are. Accepting people for who they are, meaning that you showed up and you showed me who you are because you told me who you are from the first place. My job is to recognize it and understand when people show you who they are. Believe the situation. You showed me who you are. You can't be faithful. You're promiscuous. You talked about it you already told me who you were before we even got here. And if you didn't learn that that person was that from day one, or you didn't learn who that person was from learning out between the first 30 to 90 days, and I'm speaking to myself, then shame on you. Because all you have to do is be quiet. All you got to do is stop running off at the mouth. All you got to do is stop being the first person that has to say something. And I got criticized for this because I was very quiet. I'm still am a little, laid back and reserved sometime when I don't know who you are because I'm studying this situation. I need you to tell me who you are. I know who I am, but I need you to tell me who you are. I'm not trying to convince nobody of nothing. You can see it. You know what it is, what it is. When people show you who they are, believe them. Okay, so you're promiscuous, you're this, you're that. But if I love you, if I know what real love is, and I love you, that means that I'm going to accept you for who you are. All of that. You being promiscuous, you being this, you being that, I'm accepting you for that. And because I accept you for that, that means that I'm not lowering my standards and I'm not lowering my values. So you and I are not even going to entertain that. I still love you and I still rock with you and I'm going to still be around with you and I'm going to still be your friend and I'm going to still be whatever. You can go on and you can do whatever you want to do. Real love is if you love that person regardless. So that open relationship type stuff, go on. Go on and do you. But that's about all that's going to be happening when it comes to doing anything. You're going to be doing you because that's it. I can't compromise who I am. I can't lower my standards. I can't lower, my values trying to step into the same game because you want to be in an open relationship. You want to go ahead and test the waters. Well, you know what? You can because you are your own person and I don't control you. When we try to control and manipulate people, that comes from an evil source. You know? Like we don't get a chance to control people and tell people who they can have sex with, who they can't have sex with. Who You can do whatever you want to do. You just ain't coming over here and bringing that stuff around me. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not wrong to want to be in a monogamous relationship, but to force it on somebody else, I would say that yeah, that's wrong. But to accept and love somebody who they are. Now, the big question I have is can you be in a relationship with somebody who's having sex with somebody else? Can you get past that? Can you love that person for who they are? Know that we just don't have sex. I'm still dating, I'm still hanging out, we still together, but we just don't have sex because you have some things that you need to fix on your end. How about that, SOS? I'll leave you on that. Burning questions. I love that. If you have any burning questions, text me at 609-738-0611. That is very interesting. Can you be in a relationship with somebody and not have sex? Whatever the situation may be. Maybe it's health problems. Maybe it's because you know that this person is promiscuous and you don't want to compromise who you are, but you love hanging out with the person. You love being around them. They're a great person. They're fun. You do such great things, but you know that they got a little filthy, filthy, filthy side of them that you just can't rock with. Would you still be able to date that person? Would you still be able to be with them knowing that they lay down with somebody else or may lay down with somebody else at any given moment? There are some ladies that say, yeah, they can handle that. If you're out there, let me know, because it's all about thinking differently. We all don't think the same way, and we shouldn't put our opinions and how we feel on other people because, hey, listen, if that's the situation that you're in, guess what that means? Then maybe you're not the one for me. Who knows? It could go round and round. It could be never ending. Who knows? But it is what it is. I want to say thank you so much for joining in. You can catch me at Celebration Florida Broadcasting Live December 8th, 9th, 10th. If you want to go ahead and get some coaching sessions, we can have some one-on-one private conversation sessions. Head on over to LarenGaines.com. Same type of conversation that we're having here today out here, but it'll just be one-on-one. It'll be private, catered and geared towards whatever topics, themes that you like to go over. The coaching sessions over at LarenGaines.com. If you like travel, if you like adventure, and you want to go someplace, you can vacation with me. Condominium lifestyle living, a home away from home. Most of my units have a full washer dryer, kitchen, balconies, living room, multiple bathrooms, multiple bedrooms. We can build it up and cater that as well to your vacation needs. So vacation with me and vacation and have a home away from home. That you can check that out at LarenGaines.com as well. And also, I have something new coming out next month. Whispers of Wisdom newsletters. If you want to stay up to date with everything Laren Gaines, whether it's the 4-in-1 podcast, whether it's Reading Between the Wines, whether it's vacation with me, different travel spots, different bottles of wines to try, different wineries to attend, you're going to get all of that great stuff at Whispers of Wisdom. Plus, of course, we give you that great inspiration, that great knowledge, that great wisdom. All of that's wrapped up into one single email. That email gets delivered to your mailbox once a month. You can sign up for that at LarenGaines.com. A new newsletter coming out, Whispers of Wisdom, coming out next month. Head on over to LarenGaines.com. Exquisite Extensions. I think I got that right. Exquisite Extensions. Thank you so much for joining. Miss K, Agnes K, I see you out there. Author Agnes K is coming on to Reading Between the Wines soon, and she showed up out on Instagram tonight. Javier, what's going on? Applesauce, that's what I call you, Applesauce. How are you? Steve, how are you? Thank you so much for joining. On that note, y'all, it's time for me to get out of here. I'll see you whenever I see you. Thank you so much for joining. Take care. Y'all have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4-in-1 podcast. Wednesday and Friday, we got Reading Between Lines. Also going to be live from Celebration, Florida. Thank you. Take care, y'all. Have a good night. Take care, Birdman. Appreciate you.